uniforms tonight. Cats at 6-6-3, 3-4-1 in Pac-12 competition. They are riding a 3-match unbeaten streak. Oregon State 4-9-3, 0-7-1 as mentioned, winless in Pac-12 play. If you've been tracking the Cats as of late, the aggressive tactics have been paying dividends. The flag comes up though early on, a chance to let you know that our referee is either Alvarez, assisted by Clarence Clark and Keaton Jarvis. Arizona has been sensational in just about every component of the sport, and they've been building from the back. Hope Heisey is making her claim to not only be one of the best keepers in the Conference of Champions, but she is right there with the best netminders in all of collegiate soccer, as this one is served just to the outside of the area, and it's becoming more promising now. The cross trickles through the box. That's the aggressive tactic I mentioned. That chatting with head coach Becca Moros the other day, she has been delighted with all of the hard work this team has been putting in practice settings, now coalescing on the pitch, because Arizona is really finding their sync at the right time. A win tonight will get them to an even mark in conference play of 4-4-1, and it's not too early to start thinking about the NCAA tournament. We'll go through all the potential combinations coming up. Good linkage here as the ball continues to move. It came through that right channel, and the catalyst on that possession was Jonna Christensen. Let's set the field for you, starting with Oregon State. Their netminder has been challenged because Oregon State has been dealing with a variety of injuries, leading to personnel changes. Haley Cole is the goalkeeper for OSU. With these players on the pitch to start this match: Valerie Tobias, Reese Moffitt, Gwen Jacobs, Abby Schwartz. Number 19, McKenna Martinez, the player to watch for the Beavs. 8 goals. She was second team all Pac-12 a year ago. The 8 tallies puts her in the top 10 in the conference this year. On the field currently with Sawyer Service, along with Skylar Herrera, Brianna Pizarro, Amber Jackson, and Megan Turry. Get a chance to acknowledge what Haley Cole has been doing this year for Oregon State. First year as a full-time starter, the junior from Eugene, trying to carve into a goals against that is not meeting her expectation. 221 with a save percentage of .717. For Arizona, though, it's been all about building from the back line that has been steely. Cats have posted 3 consecutive shutouts, and that has earned Hope Heisey Pac-12 Goalie of the Week honors once more. That was tightly contested. Sammy Betos trying to continue her outstanding true freshman year with a pair of goals year 1 on campus here in Tucson. But for Arizona, it's been a matter of adjusting to Becca Morris's new philosophy that was implemented a year ago, and they have been getting better just about every time they're on the pitch. And my goodness, that is certainly an upset, with a goal being scored just 3 minutes and 38 seconds into the match. Hope Heisey has been brilliant as of late, but she didn't have a chance as that ball found its way into the goal. So as we talk about the challenges for Oregon State this year, one of them, quite simply, has been putting the ball on frame. And we'll get you the particulars momentarily, as that was a flash, and certainly nothing you would expect, because Hope Heisey had not allowed a goal in 277 minutes prior to this game. We are efforting who the goal scorer was, as we have a team of top people helping me out here. Great to have you with us on Pac-12 Insider tonight, and exactly the start that Oregon State needed based on all the adversity they have had this year. A chance for the Cats to counter just that quickly, still alive, and Haley Cole comes out. Confirmation, McKenna Martinez, the player we highlighted. who has been the offensive lifeline for Oregon State. She came up with her 9th goal and setting the tone at the outset for an Oregon State team that had a promising start to the year, and then the wave of injuries had for head coach Lauren Sinicola now in her 2nd year. She has said she has never dealt with this many injuries in a single season on any level of our sport. But she's pleased with the resilience her team has displayed. While the results have been challenging, you cannot question the level of effort. Nicole Dowling plays it ahead. And what a marvelous year the junior from Menifee in Southern California is having. You'll recall she was a high school All-America. Chatting with her head coach, Becca Morrow, she said the key for Nicole has been she's far healthier than when she first arrived on campus. Sarah Rice with the throw-in as Arizona is looking to make things more frenetic in the 18, but that will sail on. In terms of the particulars head-to-head, Arizona has only scored 12 goals all season long, but the key is they've only allowed 13. For Oregon State, that was their 18th goal of the year. As mentioned, Martinez has accounted for 9 of them, but the concern for the Beavs comes down to a porous defense. They've allowed 38 goals this season, with the assist going on that Martinez goal to Brianna Pizarro, the junior from Valley Stream, New York. And now, Oregon State looks to keep that momentum going. Here's Abby Schwartz working down the right channel, but she's well marked. Play it back to Pizarro with just a little bit of room to get creative, and she and Schwartz will go back and forth. This is a dangerous centering pass that is still alive and then punched out by the Cats. Arizona has not trailed frequently as of late. It's been a fast-starting team. If you were with us for their sensational win over Colorado, they were peppering the Buffs with shots on goal, matching the kind of intensity that Colorado brought into that match, and that one is going to require Hope Heisey to be mindful of it. Well, Hope has been brilliant this year. She will not have a shutout, yielding that early goal to McKenna Martinez. Hope with 20 in her career. That's already tied for second best in Arizona history. As mentioned, she had put together 3 consecutive clean sheets, bolstered by outstanding play from competitors like Sarah Rice, Ileana Hocking, and Madison Gorley. I'm Brian Weber. We appreciate you spending time with us on this Thursday night. 8.5 minutes in, with Oregon State on top, thanks to the early goal scored by McKenna Martinez. And it's been rare that Oregon State has been the team that has been dictating in the first half. The Beavs have had some long afternoons and evenings on the pitch, with the most challenging circumstance being the Utah match, in which they gave up 6 goals and did not score. But as we're seeing, albeit small sample size, the level of competition has not dimmed at all. Good crowd gathered here in Tucson, as it'll be played forward by Skylar Herrera, the senior from Long Beach, another player who has dealt with injuries, but feeling better at this stage of the season. The midfielder has scored early on this year. This set piece on the free kick will be handled by Pizarro, who had the assist on the Martinez goal. They'll play it short and keep it on the ground, and it's quickly turned away as Arizona perfectly lined up, trying to regroup with the defensive shaping that has been instrumental in what's been working as of late. You go back to the 1-0 victory on the road in Southern California over number 8 USC. This is going to be a sprint for the through ball. Arizona with the opportunity as they try to fight themselves, and it's in. There's the equalizer as it's put away by Gianna Christensen. She comes up with her 2nd goal of the year, and just that quickly, Arizona has the answer. Well, momentum's been going back and forth early on. All set up by Ileana Hawking. So you go from a fifth-year senior to a sophomore. And the Cats were fully in rhythm there, taking advantage of all of the open space to get it past Cole, whose challenges between the pipes continue. She has faced far too many shots, and it's not fair to single out the goalie. It really does come down to a lack of defensive support, and some of that a byproduct of the personnel challenges. But Arizona able to come up with the equalizer. We could be in for a rather interesting night of soccer here in Tucson, with Arizona having everything to play for. For Oregon State, it's a matter of pride. No one wants to contend with a winless Pac-12 season. Watched their game against Washington. They jumped out quickly to a 2-0 advantage, and then, unfortunately, from the Oregon State perspective, they allowed Washington to come back to wrap things up with a 2-2 draw. And then did not have much success last week against the Bay Area schools, but that has been a conundrum on a big work Thursday for most teams throughout the Pac-12 slate of action. Stanford handed UCLA their only loss earlier this year. Cal firmly entrenched in the top 25, one of 4 teams from the Pac-12 currently ranked. And we'll talk about some of those different combinations and the outlook for the NCAA tournament as we are officially in the stretch run in conference play. Final complete weekend of conference action on Sunday. The Cats host Oregon. Beavs head over to Arizona State. And then it is the Territorial Cup match on the pitch next Friday in Tempe in the regular season finale. So the goal comes down to Ileana Hawking. Beg your pardon. For Hawking, her first goal of the year. And the assist to Jordan Hall. Arizona coming off a productive trip to the Northwest. And a 1-0 shutout at Washington on Montlake. And in a scoreless draw against Washington State. Another dangerous sequence as that ball has been caromed around and kept alive by the Cats. As they keep the pressure on and hold it into that attacking third. Battle for it at the top of the box, controlled by Oregon State momentarily, and they just have to play it to the touchline. It'll be another throw for Sarah Rice. And chatting with Becca Moros, she was delighted with the level of play. The junior from Oregon has displayed this year. She was twice All-State honoree in her high school career in Salem. A real pivotal performer, and not just a one-dimensional defensive standout. She's been making her presence felt. And that attacking third as well, as that ball will trickle long. Tied at 1 early on here. In a match that Arizona is looking to keep their eyes on the prize in. Mention that a victory tonight gets them to 4-4-1. Conventional wisdom says if Arizona wins out, and we can talk about RPI and the other metrics, but should they have a winning record overall, as well as in Pac-12 play, they should be in very good shape to make it to the NCAA tournament. But that all starts with handling their business, and from the Arizona point of view, terrific to see their resilience. Tobias to the center of the park. And it's turned away by the Cats, and a chance for Sammy Batosh. Sammy with so much dexterity to utilize. And sent down the right channel once more. And Oregon State has the answer. The 4 wins for Oregon State feel like a long time ago, given the paucity of conference victories. This is the 28th head-to-head meeting between these schools. Arizona has controlled the series with 15 wins. Last year, Oregon State, a 2-0 result in Corvallis, but overall, it's been largely Arizona winning 8 of the last 9. And these teams share much in common from a tactical standpoint, both possession-oriented, wanting to go diagonally, but they'll play direct when the opportunity arises, and we have seen that with both the goals. At the 9:15 mark, Ileana Hocking able to respond to the early goal, roughly 3:30 in, produced by McKenna Martinez. It's played off to the flank. Arizona able to rebound. And now they'll have to get it fully packed in here within the area. 15 minutes in on a perfect night here in Tucson. Match time temperature 68 degrees. Another gorgeous day here in the Sonoran Desert. Options this year for Oregon State on the corners, and our view a bit obscure, come down to Sophie Conrad, Jazzy Campbell, or Amber Jackson. And I believe that is Jackson, number 27, going to handle things. Typically, we'll go with the mid-range approach. That's what she utilizes here. That ball is still alive, looking to be possessed. And another chance from the perimeter this time for Oregon State, and Hope Heisey wisely takes charge. Hope from a sports family, both parents Arizona alums. Hope growing up here in Tucson, went to Canyon del Oro High School, and she has built on her results year by year, and really taking the next step this year, emerging as one of the finest in the nation. You can see the numerical challenge for Arizona. That's a hand in the box, it appears. We'll get the final confirmation from Eder Alvarez. Madison Grulinger has the only penalty kick early this year for Arizona, and she converted. So we got high drama early on. Nicole Dowling will take this penalty kick. She's been a sniper this season. Had the goal on the road at USC, and also came up with a brilliant score against Colorado. Matched up with Haley Cole, 17th minute, and she's got it. Arizona has rallied. A 2-1 lead. Dowling scores for the 3rd time this year. Well, it's a mark of a team that believes in themselves when they don't seem to play with a sense of feeling pressure or too much duress. And while that was an unlikely sequence of events to start the match, not the goal scorer, because as detailed, Martinez has been absolutely extraordinary, especially given all the challenges this year for Oregon State. She's challenged every defense she has faced. But Arizona showing their tenacity once more. The goal by Ileana Hocking in the 9th minute. And just seconds ago in the 17th minute, Dowling. There was no doubt about it. Cole had to do what every goalie is faced with in that situation, guess. And Dowling hit it cleanly. So is Arizona in front, 2-1. And the numbers are starting to tighten up much more positively, given the limitations Arizona had scoring goals to start the year. I mentioned coming in that They had only scored 12 goals against 13 allowed, and you can do the math now with another chance here, and that's just off the mark. Credit the individual effort there. That was virtually 1v4. And it's going to take a moment for Jordan Hall to get back to her feet. But the burst of energy was tremendous, revealing all of the athletic ability that she has leaned on since she arrived on campus. And Hall was a very special player in her high school career as well. Archer High School in the metropolitan Atlanta area. 34 goals in 12 games. Saw some of the speed that her mom used, Kathy Freeman, as a track star at Southern University A&M. She's in that school's Hall of Fame and was ranked number 9 in the world in the 1980s in her track discipline. So, great sports family. That through ball is still being battled for. It's alive in the 18, and more chaos in front. Arizona will get another shot, but it goes over the crossbar. So it's Arizona, the more aggressive team, undeniably now. As you see, we're into the 19th minute. And the Cats, after allowing that early goal to McKenna Martinez, have come back for the 2-1 advantage. Mentioned RPI, Ratings Percentage Index. That is one of the metrics used by the NCAA Selection Committee. And depending on which website you go to, and the approximation that should mirror what the folks who ultimately will make the call are using. Arizona has upped their RPI into the top 40 based on their recent success and the quality wins they've achieved, and also a byproduct of the depth and quality we're seeing once more here in the Pac-12. It's a run for Valerie Tobias, but she's turned around. And a battle for this one. Hall is scrapping. 1-on-2 once more, and players getting tangled up, and that's a little bit chippy, and the conversation continues as Jordan was not going to take a step back, matched up with Skylar Herrera. Oregon State among the conference leaders in yellow cards. Arizona not too far behind them, and no need for that level of discipline. That's just a good, hard soccer play. And this kick will be handled by Reese Moffitt, the graduate student from British Columbia. She had a terrific career at LSU, where she's now working on her degree in new media communications. 77 games in Baton Rouge, 2 trips to the NCAA tournament, and won a SEC title in 2018. Crash in the box, and the whistle comes. Well, watching Oregon State preparing for this match, they are a physical team, and you have to admire their level of competition, even though they know they don't have much of a margin for error, given all of the health concerns this year. Playing it back to Tobias, the diminutive junior from Fillmore, California. Came in with a couple assists, good for a share of the Oregon State lead. Tobias listed at just 5 feet even, but she's getting all she can out of that stature, and she plays incredibly hard. Well, once more, that was a long ball that was looking good in the direction of Jordan Hall, but read well defensively by Oregon State. Tallest player on the pitch just got a touch. That's Sawyer Service. She's 6 feet tall, sophomore from Harriman, Utah. With Arizona on top, 2-1. Now we're in the 22nd minute. I mentioned that Oregon State has had to look within themselves repeatedly this year and come up with an answer after not only the 6-0 loss to Utah October 9th. They bounced back in the very next match with that 2-2 tie against Washington I alluded to. But also a 5-1 loss to USC, 5-0 then in the following match against UCLA. That is a tough combination for any university to have to handle. We'll talk about what's going on across the conference in a minute. Also a 5-0 loss to Virginia. And a lot of teams might have packed it into a degree, not Oregon State. Here comes Megan Shelf, who has such a big leg to use. As that was driven to the middle of the pitch. And Tobias now on the counter. Played off to Amber Jackson. She is one of the more attacking players on this Oregon State roster. Arizona well aware of her playing style and well marked in that 1v1 situation. Oregon State with a 2-4-2 record on the road. Got to go all the way back to non-conference play to come up with their last victory. Well, they did have that tie against UW, as that will trickle out of bounds. Well, that goal scored by McKenna Martinez snapped a streak that was 239 minutes scoreless for Oregon State coming in. So I'm not great with math, but throw another 3 minutes and 30 seconds and you'll get the gist. They had not scored going back to that Washington match in Seattle, October 14th. That was a long time coming. And here's a touch for Rice. Mentioned her defensive prowess, now trying to show off the offensive ability as there's a battle towards that end line. Last win secured by Oregon State, September 11th against James Madison. The other victories this year against Wyoming, Fresno State, Boise State, all non-conference, as you would imagine. Cole has let two go by, one on the penalty kick by Dowling in the 17th minute to break the 1-1 tie. Coming into the match, Cole with 81 saves, number 2 in the Pac-12, but that is far too many stops for any netminder to have to come up with, and really comes down to some lapses from a team standpoint on defense. Rice looking to flip the field for Arizona, maintaining the 2-1 advantage now into the 25th minute. Long ball that's going to force Cole to come all the way out. Haley did post a couple shutouts early on, but the view from head coach Lauren Sinicola, guiding the Beavs now in her second year. She had plenty of success as an assistant at Notre Dame. You know about their heritage in our sports. Overall, Lauren with a record of 15, 16, and 4. The issue has been a lack of success so far in conference play, just 3-14 and 1, and still winless coming into this match. Lauren, though, was an outstanding player in her own right at Michigan State. It is taken away momentarily, and there's the whistle again, as that was looking like it was heading towards Jordan Hall. And I mentioned we had the possibility of seeing a yellow card. We'll get you the particulars in a moment. I will not speculate. And I think it's going to be yellow on both teams. So the early read is that Megan Shelf of Arizona got ticketed with the yellow, and that's what we know as of now. We'll have substitutions coming up as the starters have gotten plenty of run. About halfway through the 26th minute now, with Arizona in front 2-1. This is as healthy as Oregon State has been all season long. Clarify the yellow situation. In addition to Megan Shelf being ticketed, Gwen Jacobs also picked up the yellow. So offsetting, if you will, both players coincidentally wearing number 6. So that makes it symmetrical. Oregon State has been a little bit disorganized, and case in point here, not fully in system, and that could create the opportunity for Cats, but Dowling couldn't hang on, and now it's played forward and into the box. 1v2. Martinez already has a goal. She puts it back on frame directly into the midsection of Hope Heisey, who is etching her name across Arizona's record books. Won't have a shutout tonight, but overall this year, already a half dozen clean sheets. That's number 8 in school history for a single season. Career goals against, a measly number, 134. That's 5th best in the history of Arizona soccer. Trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. And just year 2 for Becca Morris. A reminder, Arizona was picked to finish last in the conference in the preseason coaches poll. Right in front of them, Oregon State selected number 11. Becca Morris was candid. I asked her early on this season. I don't know if people still use bulletin boards. That's an old school reference. But I asked, did she use it as fuel? Was that motivation? And she said she certainly brought it up with the team and said, let's prove everybody wrong. And so far, that has been precisely what the Cats have been able to achieve. They're going to keep it going tonight, as they're scrapping hard here for possession. And ultimately now, Arizona will play it back to Hope Heisey, who's played every minute again this year. She is the prototypical Iron Woman, and she has been used more heavily to ignite the offense. That's a nuance and wrinkle that's been added this year. And another aspect that really has been shining for Arizona, just like their transition play, and they have the opportunity here, and it's in. The lead now is up to 3-1 in the 29th minute. So after McKenna Martinez had that early goal, 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, that is 3 goals unanswered by Arizona. An offensive outburst by the Cats. And it's Nicole Dowling who's got the brace. A multi-goal game for the junior from Menifee. Talked about her better health since she arrived on campus. She was dinged up. And when I chatted with Becca Morris the other day, she had so many superlatives to describe Dowling. Said that beyond her skill on the pitch, she's as good of a person and a team leader that this club really feeds off of. A second assist will be handed out to Jordan Hall, who's been all over the pitch. So it's now a 3-1 Arizona lead. We'll go through the game by game to give you their high tally this season. They've been hovering right around 2 goals a game. I just talked about the overall metric. They came into this match with 12 goals scored all season long. They have 3 tonight, and we're only in the 30th minute. What a robust start for Arizona, trying to solidify their standing to make a run at the NCAA tournament. This one chipped to the edge of the 18, but handled by Cole. So Dowling, with goals now in the USC win, that historic victory on the road in downtown Los Angeles, had a brilliant score against Colorado, and now the brace, her first multi-goal game of the season. But if you watch Oregon State, and this was something, as we now have more bodies tangled up on that touchline. Again, no intent. This is just hard soccer being played, and now we have a red card. We'll sort out the details coming up. Well, you can almost sense that was coming. The physicality had picked up a little bit of chippy play. I'm here in the press box. I have a team of people communicating, so when we get the official information, we'll pass it along. So the red, we're being told, assessed to Gwen Jacobs of Oregon State. She'll be sent off. And a yellow card now being assessed to the Arizona bench. Well, another dilemma for Oregon State. After they had the promising start with their offensive catalyst, McKenna Martinez scoring just 3 minutes and 30 seconds in. Good for her 9th goal of the year. In an instant, Oregon State had the quick lead. Arizona has come back in a major way with the 3-1 advantage. So it's a red card both ways. Megan Shelf also assessed a red card. So you're all caught up. And that's a real loss for Arizona because Shelf not only sets the tone with her aggressive play, and apparently a tad too aggressive there, leads the team in shots at 27 coming into this match, 10 shots on frame. With Arizona on top of Oregon State, a 3-1 lead here in the 31st minute in the penultimate weekend of conference play. Arizona has some options. This is a splendid defensive team, but if you know anything about Becca Moros and what she's brought this program, I'd be very surprised if they back off at all. They want to play a complete match, also looking to lay the foundation for what's coming up. That's a Sunday game here in Tucson against Oregon, and then all the emotion involved in the Territorial Cup match next week. That's Friday at Arizona State. Sun Devils in the hunt for an NCAA tournament bid as well. Think about last year, it came down to Jill Aguilera scoring on a penalty kick to win for Arizona. It could be another marvelous renewal of the rivalry. Bodies tangling up once more. So this has been physical for about the last 15 minutes. We have another yellow card. That's Ileana Hocking went down. She got tangled up with Amber Jackson. Yellow card issued to Oregon State from the 27th, Amber Jackson. Well, given the realities that Oregon State is effectively playing for pride, and they want to come up with their first conference victory of the year with Angela Barron having a terrific freshman year. She'll serve it just to the cusp of the box. But Arizona, with postseason goals, wants to make sure not only do they win, everybody stays healthy for this stretch run. Well, with all of the activity early on, I can reset the field. There was a substitution for Oregon State. Sophie Conrad came in. She was spelling Abby Schwartz, and the latest change was find the opportunity for Sawyer Service to get some rest. And Oregon State will go deep onto the bench. I'll let you know who that player is momentarily.
For Oregon State, number 24, Jazzy Campbell.
It's Jazzy Campbell, the junior from Simi Valley, just north of Los Angeles. That one also was in the vicinity, as Arizona has emerged magnificently with the approach that the defense was going to be the baseline for everything that they do. Now finding much more of an effective path moving forward offensively. Shots now, Arizona with a 9-4 advantage, 6-3 in shots on goal, and the overall number that really matters, a 3-1 Arizona lead, thanks in part to the brace scored by Nicole Dallin, and the first goal, the equalizer, coming at the 9-minute mark by Ileana Hocking. Well, the overall trend for Oregon State has continued. coming in, they had been outshot 257 to 179. I gave you the particulars so far in this match. One thing that should lift the confidence of Oregon State, among the now 18 goals scored, 9 have come in the second half. So this is the team that has found their way as the match has progressed, unable to link up there. But that was right in the area once more. And ultimately, Jordan Hall then with the touch for Arizona as they're trying to get back defensively. And this one's going to sail all the way through and allow Arizona to flip the field. Here come the Cats now, working down the left channel. Baytosh having a breakout freshman year. A couple goals and 3 assists. Get another whistle, as we've been talking too much about. Our officials, led by referee Peter Alvarez. Reminder, we've already had a pair of reds. Sets to both Megan Shelf and Gwen Jacobs. The Oregon State Shelf, of course, one of the best all-around players for Arizona in just about every important component of the match. Here come the Cats in transition, into the 6, and it's turned away by Cole. A phenomenal opportunity once more there in the 36 minutes on the dead run. It was Jordan Hall. Well, Arizona has been flexing their metaphoric muscle as of late. And we can tell you about these substitutions coming in for the Cats. Desiree Foster, the sophomore from San Diego, had a goal against Cal State Northridge last year. Takes over for Dowd, who's earned that rest, along with Olivia Brady. Remember, she tallied for the first time in her career in the win over Colorado. Spelling, Jordan Hall, who's been sprinting all over the pitch. And the final substitution for Arizona, another promising young player, Trinity Dorsey, the true freshman from Elkridge, Maryland. Maryland State Player of the Year a season ago. Taking over for Gianna Christensen. With Arizona in front 3-1, now here in the 37th minute. With many different avenues they can take in this match. Also an opportunity with a more comfortable lead for Becca Morris to work on some different combinations. We're at the stage of the season, final week of October. Getting ready for postseason play where the starters have logged a myriad of minutes. Nobody more than Hope Heisey. Remember, she has not missed a single second of the action this year, and that early goal by Martinez, a reflection of her terrific versatility, but a bit of an aberration when you consider just how steely Hope Heisey's been all season long. That one is taken away, and Arizona, if they could hang on, would have had effectively a power play, but Brady could not retain possession. Closing it on halftime as Arizona is trying to stay on their dynamic roll as of late. Came into the match riding a 3-match unbeaten streak. And a win tonight gets them to 500 in conference play with just 2 matches remaining. Couple more substitutions for Oregon State. Lindsay Antonsen, the freshman from Wilsonville, Oregon, is on the pitch. Martinez has earned her break. And we'll see some run from Jaden Sanders in her true freshman year from Brentwood in the Los Angeles area. She's taking over for Megan Turek. But based on all of the injury concerns for Oregon State, they do not have the depth of Arizona. And I mentioned that Arizona has maximized the limited number of goals they had scored coming in to have the 500 record at 6-6-3. Just to give you a little more context, Arizona had scored 4 goals in the first half all season long prior to tonight. So this is an explosion for the 3-1 lead. Now here in the 40th minute, battle for it along the end line. Well, if you're looking for what has changed for Becca Moros' team, Becca was pleased with the level of commitment she saw from this team last year after they had the slow start. Remember, they won 2 of their last 3 to finish the Pac-10 season at 2-9. Many ways, really a springboard for what they were able to do early on in non-conference play. But go back to that Stanford match. Even though Arizona lost ultimately to one of the best teams in the nation, after that match, Becca Morrow said the first half was the best single half of soccer her team had played all season long. And you can't just say correlation and causation, as we know, given the physics for you. But if you go back to that game and how Arizona's played since, they have taken a major step forward. Both teams now looking for control squarely at midfield. And that one's going to head out of bounds as we're inside 5 minutes to go in a very entertaining first half that seemed to be moving in the right direction for Oregon State when their best player and most productive athlete, McKenna Martinez, scored for the ninth time. 3:30 in. Arizona coming back with 3 goals, including a penalty kick converted by Nicole Dallin. She backed it up with another goal for the first brace of her career. The equalizer scored by Ileana Hocking in the 9th minute. If you're thinking along as to what has changed for Arizona, a lot of it just comes down to having more time on the field. This is year 2. Rebecca Morris and her staff. Terrific assistants like Brian Perriman. Quinn, who was a teammate of Becca's at Duke University, where Lorraine was an All-American. Rebecca a standout in her own right. And a lot more continuity as that is headed by Betosh, but the flag went up offsides. Sammy played for that powerhouse academic and athletic program in Southern California, Mater Dei, which has set so many athletes onto the professional ranks. Think about pro soccer, what a weekend it's going to be with the NWSL final coming up on Sunday. Another marvelous year in the pro ranks with Jill Aguilera taking her talents to the next level. And that one is going to skip over the fence. It's been intriguing to watch this season evolve. And, for example, what Dallin has been doing as of late, and, of course, I'm going to be fixated on her achievements with the brace so far in the second half coming up. But early in the year really did feel like a work in progress, and while the results were not there, Arizona has raised their play at the right time. And now they have the clear ability to play whatever style they want to in the second half. I'd be surprised if they go too much into a shell, but protecting the lead is the foremost goal. Into the 44th minute, headed up by Sarah Rice. Rice, another all-around good athlete. So many track stars on this team. That goes back to the recruiting approach from Tony Amato when Arizona played a more direct style. When you think about players like Quincy Bonds, a track champion in the state of Nevada, great track credentials for Ileana Hocking, Madison Gorlinger. as we approach the final minute of the first half, other than the first 4 minutes that has been thoroughly dominated by Arizona with a 3-1 advantage, adding to what has been a long Pac-12 slate for the winless Oregon State Beavers with an 0-7-1 record in conference play. All part of a terrific weekend. We'll call Thursday the kickoff of the weekend. Homecoming on campus here in Tucson. Volleyball tomorrow night against the Oregon Ducks. Football on Saturday against USC. And here on the pitch, Arizona women's soccer team has maintained their momentum. A final push by the Beavs that is snuffed out by Arizona. The Cats coming alive offensively with a 3-1 lead at the half. First goal came for Oregon State, 3:30 in, thanks to 9:15 mark. Ileana Hawking with her first goal of the year. The assist credited to Jordan Hall. In the 17th minute, Nicole Dallin with a penalty kick, getting it past Oregon State's netminder, Haley Cole. And then Dallin backed it up with a goal in the 29th minute, as that one is on frame. Dallin's first brace of her career. Jordan Hall coming up with her second assist. So it's Arizona on top 3-1, trying to pick up what would be their 4th conference victory of the year. Get them to 500 in Pac-12 play at 4-4-1. And would raise the unbeaten streak to 4 consecutive matches as they flip sides of the field. And here come the Cats in their blue kits, back in the area, but there's the whistle as the flag goes up. A reminder, we have had a pair of red cards, coincidentally, assessed to both teams' number 6s, so no Megan Chelf nor Gwen Jacobs. That's Chelf for Arizona, Jacobs for Oregon State moving forward. And both players have been very impactful, so those are notable losses for both teams. And we have not seen either coach, in Becca Moros or Lauren Sinicola, going deep into their bench. Oregon State still with the personnel challenges with all of the injuries, only used 4 substitutes in the first half. Arizona played an even tighter rotation. Just 3 players came off the bench. Part of another busy day across the Pac-12. I'll give you some other particulars from matches of notes as we are winding down in the regular season. That means we're warming up for NCAA play. A reminder, last year the Pac-12 got 4 bids into the field of 64 as Heisey comes up with the save. In the first half, Arizona was the more aggressive team, reflected by their edge in shots, the 10-4 tally. Heisey let the goal in by Martinez, then rebounded to come up with a couple saves, while Cole has allowed 3 goals. She is credited so far with 3 saves on the other side of the ledger. Referred to the 4 NCAA bids secured by the Pac-12 last year, as Arizona now is going to play it back and get reorganized and lofted into the 6 and pulled down by Cole. That 4 number is certainly an aberration, because if you think about the COVID season that was played in the spring, that was merely a field of 48 teams in postseason play. The Pac-12 got 5 bids. You go back to 2019, 9 teams from the Pac-12 qualified for the NCAA tournament, tying the record set in 2014. Not certain if 9 will be the number again this year, but feels like close to a guarantee it's going to be much more than 4 when you think about how well the Pac-12 is represented in RPI metrics. That was a creative series of moves right down the middle of the pitch, but directly in the vicinity of Cole. So Arizona picking up where they left off, as this is a team that has asserted itself over the last 6 weeks in one of the toughest conferences in all of college soccer. And they've been at their best against some of the best. Win against USC stands out, as USC came up with a 2-1 victory over Washington earlier today. Arizona lost to Cal 1-0 as the Bears scored in the 87th minute here in Tucson. Cal with an offensive outburst today of their own. A 4-0 win over Colorado. Stanford exploded for 5 goals. A 5-0 shutout over Utah. And over in Tempe, big first half put together by Graham Winkler's team. A 3-0 advantage over Oregon, with the Ducks coming here to Tucson on Sunday. And scoreless between Washington State and UCLA, even though the Bruins did suffer their only loss of the year a couple weeks ago against the Stanford Cardinals. UCLA still number 1 in the polls and number 1 in the RPI. We're into the 50th minute. Nothing has changed to start the second half, with Arizona on top of Oregon State 3-1. And certainly content from the Cats' perspective to work clock. There is a shove. That was fairly obvious by Dallin, as she came together with Moffitt, who has all of that experience on her resume. She's the former fixture in the starting lineup for LSU, now finishing her career as a grad student in Corvallis. Off the set piece, it'll be Madison Gorlinger, who is a co-captain on this team. The most versatile players in the conference. She chips it into the box. And Oregon State will be able to run it down. The 3 goals scored by Arizona, the most they have scored in any single match all season long. We still have 40 minutes to go tonight. But that fits the profile as of late. Backed up by some remarkable play between the posts by Hope Heisey, and knowing Hope, having covered her now for her entire career, even if Arizona wins this match, I bet Hope will be breaking down that tape, wondering how Martinez got past her. On the run, it's an opportunity here, but Dunn will wait for help. And Arizona will get organized. Everything properly aligned. And held in by the Cats, as now they can play it diagonally. Dallin looking for the hat trick as she sends that one through the 6. Dallin, another versatile athlete, lettered in track, you guessed it. That seems to be the connection beyond soccer for just about everyone on the Arizona roster. Also, a skilled tennis player in her high school days in Menifee, California, Paloma Valley High School, where she was an All-American in our sports. 53rd minute, Arizona leading Oregon State 3-1. Arizona trying to improve to a winning record overall, looking for their 7th victory. As mentioned, as important, get that conference tally to even 500 in Pac-12 play. As Cats looking to hold their ground here, and that's mission accomplished so far. If you have a chance here in Tucson or wherever you may be joining us on Pac-12 Insider to run into either one of these coaches, such fabulous representatives of their universities, and here in Tucson, Becca Morris really putting her imprint on this program. And she is a player first who's evolved into a coach, but she hasn't lost that mentality, as this one is still alive. And unfortunately, that's been a summary of the defensive liabilities for Oregon State all season long. Felt like Cole should have taken the charge there instead. That's going to earn Arizona their first corner of the match, which says something about how proficient they've been with a 3-1 lead. And this is their first set piece. It's played to the middle of the pitch, the battle for it. It's going to be controlled by Arizona. They can't sustain this run. Now it's Oregon State on the counter. That's chipped forward. And another race for possession controlled by Arizona. Rebecca Moros was candid in assessing the talent level of Oregon State, and she said they are a dangerous team given that they have yet to secure a victory, and certainly all these players are accustomed to success. That's how you wind up playing at this high level. So she did not doubt that Oregon State would come out with a great deal of intensity. That certainly was the case early on as they got that quick goal from Martinez less than 4 minutes in. We approach the 56th minute now as temperatures have dipped. It's still a very pleasant night, 64 degrees here in Tucson. Absolutely no wind to speak of. Ideal conditions. As Arizona has the luxury now of showing a variety of different looks. Stay in system. Keep their point of attack focused. But they can play much more laterally than having to always press on given the 3-1 advantage. And even in these situations where we're getting ready for the restart, you notice that Arizona astutely is working methodically, understanding that time is on their side. It'll be a restart from Mariah Dunn, another outstanding defender. Now in her senior year from Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California. At some point, Oregon State is going to have to take more chances if they want to make this a much more competitive match moving forward. And they're properly aligned here. You can see the spacing as they get into that attacking third. Working middle. And poke free by Arizona. There's another rather visible push as if you extend your hands in the middle of the field, the whistle is going to come. So I alluded to what's going on with Arizona State. They have an even better RPI than Arizona right now. And if the scores don't change, and it's another win for the Cats, coupled by another win for the Sun Devils, they'll both go to 4-4-1 in Pac-12 play. Washington came into tonight's action tied with Arizona and Arizona State for a share of fifth, but I passed along that result that Washington fell to number 18 USC, and what a breakout year Troy Bethune has had for the Trojans. So starting to see more separation in the standings as the number of regular season matches is dwindling down. The trainer will come out for Oregon State, and unfortunately that has been the repetitive theme throughout the season. This team has been absolutely crushed by injuries. And on that occasion, it was Jaden Sanders, the first-year player from Brentwood, California. Just needing a moment to collect herself. It's always festive to have another game in the background. Now, I have enough challenges calling one match, but if I'm feeling bold, I might go with simultaneous play-by-play. We'll see how that plays out in the remaining 30 minutes together. Oregon State trying to generate something offensively. That typically starts by getting it into the 18 and showing tenacity here, but it's well marked by Arizona, not giving up any territory along that left channel. Been a big match so far by Jordan Hall, assisting on both of the goals from the field, and the third one coming from Nicole Gallant on the penalty kick. This is headed up, still alive inside the 6. There's the flag, though. Oregon State offsides. Hope Heisey did not have to come up with the goods for another save. Hope is going to have her name linked with just about every important record when her play career is done. I mentioned the NWSL final coming up on Sunday. Jill Aguilera's heroics throughout her career, graduating as the all-time leading scorer in the history of the program, beating Arizona State on a PK last year. Jill moving on to Chicago in the pros. Jill here tonight, the crowd honoring the most prolific scorer in the history of Arizona soccer. Remember, Jill dealt with a torn ACL year 1. And was not deterred with her magnificent career. They'll move into the diamond sequence here with plenty of diagonal options for Arizona to choose from. 60th minute, Arizona leading Oregon State 3-1. We have not had a goal since the 29th minute when Nicole Dowan completed the brace. 4th goal of the year. 2nd assist provided by Jordan Hall. Another yellow card emerges. We have seen a lot of discipline being meted out. That one is going to be handed against Jaden Sanders of Oregon State. Bears repeating, we had double red cards given out to Megan Shelf of Arizona and Gwen Jacobs of Oregon State. They were sent off towards the end of the first half. A substitution for Oregon State with the fresh legs being provided by Lindsay Antonsen. She will take over for Amber Jackson. Here comes Ella Hatteberg as she's filling in now for Sarah Rice with the World Series getting underway tomorrow. If that last name sounds familiar, it should. Ella is the daughter of Scott Hatteberg, who had a 14-year career in the Bigs. Played for the Reds, Red Sox, and the Oakland A's, and Ella has been another impactful freshman. Who got some quality run early in the year and was able to be a difference maker on that back line. Played forward by the Beavs, headed up into the area, still contested for. And another chance for Oregon State, trying to carve into this 3-1 Arizona lead. They're back into the box. And trying to get it on frame now, but Arizona flexing their muscle defensively. Going to draw a corner for Oregon State. That's Brianna Pizarro, who had the assist on the Martinez goal to handle this set piece. First half only featured a single corner kick, and Arizona had their first corner here in the second half not too long ago. Heisey decided not to hold her line. She came all the way out, but could not retain possession. And that one caroms just off the mark. As it feels like now Oregon State asserting themselves, earning another quarter, trying to cut the lead to a single goal, with Arizona leading 3-1 here in the 63rd minute. High arcing ball that's played out of the box. And a battle for it. Jordan Hall has been ubiquitous on a Big Word Thursday, all over the pitch. Coming up with a pair of helpers. Well, the clock not helping Oregon State's bid to come up with their first Pac-12 victory. If things don't change, they're on their way to a third consecutive loss after earning that 2-2 draw out on the road in Washington. Oregon State takes over squarely at midfield. And there's a blast all the way into the 18. More bodies colliding. It'll be retained by Oregon State. They'll play it to the right channel. They've had most of their success coming down that avenue. This ball still waiting to be claimed. Here come the Cats on the counter. But Oregon State comes up with the answer. Irrespective of the differential on the scoreboard, the level of effort has been there throughout. From the Beavs' point of view, Pizarro goes down as we've moved into the 65th minute, with Arizona maintaining their 3-1 lead. Heisey plays it all the way past midfield. Well, Becca Moros had plenty of postseason experience as a terrific player at Duke. Now she wants to share that experience in merely year 2 with this team as the head coach of Arizona. There's a lot of growth last year. Dorsey was unable to link up there, so that giveaway creates this opportunity for Oregon State as the flag goes up once more. Not much other than that quick burst of energy by McKenna Martinez at the 3:40 mark to get us underway has gone the way of the Oregon State Beavers, virtually summing up a lot of the issues they have dealt with all season long. Arizona with a 13-6 advantage in shots, 8-5 edge in shots on frame. Now that was fun to watch, and it posed the question, but Cole was able to come up with it. Nicely done once more by Jordan Hall. Remember, Jordan is just a junior, and she has been taking positive steps every time it seems that she's been able to get on the pitch.
Entering the game for the Cats, number 19, Olivia Brady.
Here comes Olivia
Number 22,
Brady.
Marley Chappell.
Alongside.
And number 30, Desiree Foster.
Desiree Foster. And Marley Chappell will get some playing time tonight. Marley was a high school All-American, just like Nicole Dallin. Chappell comes from a high school resume that also earned her first team All-State honors in Colorado. growing up in a soccer family. Her father, Leo, longtime assistant coach in men's soccer, and a former head coach at Columbia in the Ivy League. It'll come back to Dunn. She chips it into the box. Bodies colliding again. Another yellow card comes out. This has been a gritty match. Remember, we've had a pair of reds. Megan Shelf, Gwen Jacobs sent off in the first half. And the yellows have been mounting as well. 68th minute with Arizona still leading. Oregon State 3-1. No goal scored in the second half. Cole will play it short to Moffitt. Well, at this point, Oregon State just needs to generate something positive, and it's a reflection of just how well Arizona's played defensively that the chances have not been there. Foster had it dispossessed. Cats, though, will hang on. Dorsey with a quick touch. Dorsey was an outstanding student in high school. In fact, she was a National Scholar Player of the Year with her 3.75 GPA, shining at Our Lady of Good Counsel High School in Elkridge, Maryland. Also played for the Bethesda Soccer Club. Much more time being spent in this middle neutral third of the field as this match has moved along. 69th minute, Arizona with a 3-1 lead over Oregon State. Cats trying to solidify their postseason ambitions. Not to be too caught up with the Tucson point of view, but objectively, if you have a 500 or better record in the Pac-12, you have a very strong case to make it to the NCAA tournament. And a win tonight, which Arizona has the real possibility of accomplishing, gets Arizona to the 4-4-1 mark. Challenging year for Oregon. Ducks coming here on Sunday, and I guess it would be fitting if it comes down once more to Arizona State and Arizona potentially with a spot in the NCAA tournament hanging in the balance, especially with all of the tension we saw last year between the rivals. Now Foster tried to make her move. Pac-12 with 4 teams in the top 25 in the coaches poll. It's really just a matter of style points and perception. For Arizona, the key number, that RPI I allude to, depending on which metric you're looking at, inside the top 40. This will not help that much given the overall record of Oregon State, but at this stage of the season, the goal is straightforward for Arizona. Win out. And coming in, that started with a head-to-head victory over the Beavs tonight. Pace of play getting choppier in the second half. Set piece. It is sent into the area. And we have another yellow card. My goodness, this has been a yellow fest. And another one comes out. Well, Eder Alvarez has made his presence felt. I'll give you those particulars coming up. So we'll get things sorted out here. Going to be put down by Abby Schwartz. A penalty kick in the 72nd minute. Hopaisi stopped the penalty kick, you'll recall, a few weeks ago against USC. Schwartz comes up with the second goal in the 72nd minute, and it's a 3-2 match. And that will silence the crowd here as this match has gotten far tighter. What a rare match it is in which you see a pair of penalty kicks, both converted. And now Arizona will huddle up, understanding the gravity of this match. It bears repeating that Oregon State is winless in the Pac-12. It's a real reflection of their commitment to the program and each other. They're still grinding at a very high level. As Abby Schwartz has dealt with so many injuries. She tallies for the first time this year on the PK. The senior from British Columbia could only play 9 matches all of last season because of injury concerns. And this match just got a lot more interesting with less than 20 minutes to go. A reminder, we don't have overtime and regular season play anymore. A draw could be a possibility, but no OT until we get to the postseason. Done with the throw-in. And plenty of hope and optimism now for Oregon State. As Dorsey made her move, the whistle came. '73rd minutes. It's a 1-goal game. So to confirm the yellow card situation, Angela Barron picked up the yellow for Arizona. And Mariah Dunn also. So it's been a litany of yellows. Feels like a stationery store out here with all these cards. Cleared momentarily by Oregon State. While they have been outshot by a 2-1 margin, 14-7 now. Arizona controlling that category. Shots on goal tightening up. The Arizona lead now 9-6. But penalty kick changed the entire dynamic of this match. And here come the Bees trying to work in transition. It was Pizarro on the run. A chance here for Desiree Foster. Going to be marked in the area. As that got tighter in the final yard prior to heading out of bounds. But Arizona content to take their time while the lead is down to 1. They still have the asset of the clock. As we're going to take now into the 75th minute of Arizona enjoying a 1-goal lead over Oregon State at 3-2. This one is bouncing dangerously, but it's moved out of the 18. And the Beavers looking to counter here in the middle of the park. Less than 15 minutes to go. A one-goal margin in Tucson. And that takes one bounce right into the arms of Hope Heisey. The reigning Pac-12 goalie of the week, winning for the second time in the span of 3 weeks, her third honor this season. Reminder, her goals against this year, microscopic, 0.87, letting in 2 tonight. Good dribbling there by Oregon State. Gets them possession. But it's short-lived. That ball is going to be hammered by Heisey just inside the midfield stripe. It's been working primarily in that right channel for Oregon State, but they give it away. Foster is trying to get creative. So we have a few substitutions for Arizona. Opportunity for Jolie Maycumber, the redshirt freshman from Portland, where she was second team All-State honoree in Oregon, taking over from Morley Chapel. And for the Beavs, Megan Turry back on, having a terrific freshman year. The Canadian from British Columbia will give Jaden Sanders a breather. As we're getting closer to crunch time in this one, 78th minute. Arizona hanging on to the 3-2 lead. Lone goal in the second half coming about 6 minutes ago. Abby Schwartz on a penalty kick scored for Oregon State. As they're working in the right direction here. That's a 1v2 situation. It's going to earn the Beavs a corner. Oregon State with a 4-1 advantage in quarters tonight. This will be taken by Reese Moffitt, the LSU transfer, handling this set piece.
The Beavers, number 27,
Oregon State electing to crash the net now. Punched out by Heisey, but it's still out there waiting to be claimed. It'll pinball to the other channel, and then Heisey skied for it, using that 5'9" frame and her wingspan to her advantage. So just slightly off frame, but the play had to be made by Heisey just to remove any doubt as to what could happen next. But if we were scoring this like a prize fight, last few rounds have been 10-9 Oregon State. We're looking for the equalizer, down 3-2. As we're seconds away from the 80th minute with 10 minutes to go. And this tight one in Tucson. Betosh trying to play it forward. Breedy can't get clearance. Now she's well marked. Deep into the corner. And they'll keep on battling out there. That's the personification of 1v1. Something's got to give. And Arizona has earned just their second quarter of the match, both coming in the second half. And things get tricky because we have a tree that you can plainly see in that corner. So I'm going to focus in the area, in the box. Let's see how this one emerges. Line drive into the 6. Cats fighting for it, and they're going to have to regroup on the perimeter. As it was Betosh who handled the corner, And she's got the pickup there. 81st minute, 9 minutes left. Arizona on top, 3-2. Nicole Dallin has returned as Desiree Foster will come off. Reminder, Dallin with the first brace of her career, scoring on the penalty kick. That came in the 17th minute and then backed it up with a gorgeous goal in the 29th minute. The assist from Jordan Hall, who has a pair of assists tonight. Jordan also assisting on the Ileana Hawking goal, the equalizer, in the 10th minute. There's still loads of time for Oregon State to come up with the equalizer, since they haven't won all year and have had only one draw in Pac-12 play. Given that they trailed 3-1 at halftime, if they can even come up with a tie in this one, certainly no more victories on this level of our sport, but it would change the feeling around the program, because if you've been with us every step of the way of this match, there is no parsing or denying the level of effort we have seen from Oregon State from the outset. And this is looking promising here. Trying to find just a little bit of space. Poked free by Arizona. Nowhere to go. Pizarro gets it back with the left foot service. Third minute, less than 7 minutes to go. Arizona leading Oregon State 3-2. The Beavs have a few more significant offensive surges within them. Seconds keep coming off the clock, and that is a challenge for Oregon State. They've been outshot 14-8. Shots on goal remain a 9-6 Arizona advantage. Cats on the counter here as they play it forward. Dallin has been the offensive catalyst as she showed off the dribbling skills she possesses. And just as significantly on that run, burned a lot of time. 84th minute now in Tucson. Barron with a touch. That's served into the box. And that is just wide, but Betosh gave it a good amount of pace from the outside. Well, there's so much to like about what Sammy has done year one, and the best could be yet to come. When she scored her first goal of her college career just 3 games into the year. Secured that tie against Nebraska. Second goal came against UC Davis. Cats have it in the 85th minute with a 3-2 lead over Oregon State. Beavs, though, come up with the block they were looking for. It's retained by Arizona. A service into the 18. Another tussle for it. Betosh with a touch. Scrapping forward once more, but can't come up with possession. That was a good 1v1 battle. We're now in the 85th minute. Schwartz couldn't hang on. Baytosh emerges with it for Arizona in the 86th minute. Cats trying to build on their 3-2 advantage in the closing minutes. Baytosh with the service that is headed away. Comes right back to Sammy. And she smartly looks for assistance. And that one's going to sail too high. But the clock is going to continue to roll as Ella Hatteberg put a lot of leg behind that effort. Eliana Hawking, the fifth-year senior, with her father Denny, the former Major League baseball player, on hand tonight. You know about their sports family. Twin sister Penelope, one of the best scorers in the history of USC, transferring to Penn State this year. As time continues to dwindle off the clock. And the drama builds here in Tucson. This has been a tightly contested match with a flurry of goals. Arizona's 3 goals, the most they have scored all season long in a single match, with less than 4 minutes to go in this one. We've moved into the 87th minute. Beavs have to play with even more urgency, looking to tie the match at 3. Clock will stop momentarily.
That's number 9, Jordan Hall.
Jordan Hall returns, taking over for Olivia Breedy. It's been a stellar night for Jordan Hall with a pair of assists. Clock rolling again after that brief stoppage. With just over 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. A foul committed by Hatteberg. 88th minute. Less than 3 minutes to go in this one in Tucson. Oregon State on the run. Serve into the 6. And they'll get another look here, the chance to regroup. Touch for Moffitt. It's played over to Pizarro, who sends it right into the arms of Hope Heisey. And Hope will take her time here. Crowd sensing that Arizona potentially getting closer to extending their unbeaten streak to 4 consecutive matches. With just over 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the match. Two minutes to go. Beavers need that recognition. They gotta be quick, but don't hurry, and they're rapidly back into that offensive third. Gonna earn another corner here, and potentially the match could hinge on this set piece. Kenna Martinez, who has scored tonight for Oregon State, with a blast into the 6, punched out by Heisey. That ball's going to roll all the way down to Haley Cole. With a minute 15 left in this match. This is dangerous, and it's knocked away. As that ball was waiting to be claimed, going to lead to another corner. As we're now inside, less than a minute to go. Once more, the match hanging in the balance on this set piece. Cole comes all the way out of goal. She's about 40 yards away from the Arizona goal. In-swinger, battle for it. And it's poked free, and there's another soccer ball on the pitch. That'll be controlled by our referee, who says play on. Arizona able to burn a lot of clock here with one more run. Less than 30 seconds to go. And there's a common foul called. Well, it's not every day you see that extra soccer ball emerge out of nowhere. And the crowd now with the ability to count it down. Final seconds here in Tucson. Arizona hangs on for a 3-2 victory, outlasting Oregon State.